Jonathan Mark. You do not display anger on your videos. You smile and chuckle at the silliness of it all, including your own silliness. Are you mad at your parents for having temporarily become Scientologists in the first place, and possibly leading you to become one? Are you mad at the Church of Scientology, people you worked for or with in the church? I'm pretty optimistic by nature and generally in a pretty good mood about things, despite all of the nonsense that's happened to me in my life. I just feel like that's the better way to approach life, so that's how I kind of do it. So as far as my parents go, I'm not mad at them, not even a little bit. My parents have been a major part of my recovery process. In fact, they've been there for me every step of the way and have been wonderful, wonderful people to me in this. And of course, they got themselves, away from organized Scientology and from the Church of Scientology themselves on their own bat before I did. So there's no anger or animosity there at all about them, having been conned into Scientology and fallen for it and worked for it and done all the things they did. And then, of course, because they thought at the time that it was the best thing for me, they suggested I do it, and I went in and found out for myself what it was and got on board on my own, of my own free will. So no, nothing toward my parents. As far as the Church of Scientology itself goes, yes, I'm not happy with the Church of Scientology. I'm not neutral towards the Church of Scientology. I'm pretty upset about the Church of Scientology. It's a very upsetting organization. The things they do are it's an institutional evil in the same way that Nazi Germany and the Nazi Party was an institutional evil. And I know Godwin's Law, and I'm invoking it already and bringing up the Nazis and Hitler, but I'm sorry, it's an apt analogy. I could just as easily say Stalinist Russia, back in the day. It was an institutional evil. And by that I mean the people individually, you can sit down with them, you could have a beer with them, you could talk to them, they're perfectly good people. And yet they do horrible, awful, evil things. And sometimes they're aware of those horrible and awful and evil things that they're doing, and sometimes they're not. I'd say, in fact, probably most of the time they're not, because they're brainwashed. They're under a control system. They are under undue influence. And they don't really understand, what they're doing. Doesn't give them a pass, doesn't make what they're doing any less evil. I don't mean to say it that way. I just mean that in understanding what's going on there, it's not a good picture. It's not a good situation. What goes on with Scientology, Hubbard's policies, Hubbard's technology, Miscavige and the way he runs the show and has for decades. It's an institutional evil. Now, given all that, there are some people in Scientology that I doubt that I will ever forgive. Should it even come up that they ask me for forgiveness, which I severely doubt with these people. I'm talking about a handful of people. I'm not talking about a lot of people. There are people who have made it their life's work to ruin other people's lives, and to do that knowingly, willingly, with full and complete knowledge of what they're doing. I'm talking about people, say, at the Office of Special Affairs, very specific individuals who work in Scientology's what's called the Senior HCO branch, which is their justice branch, the people who are responsible for instituting Scientology's justice system, like declaring people, making sure that people are disconnected from. There are Scientologists, public Scientologists, who patrol Facebook and make sure that people aren't connected with people who are not in good standing and things like that. There are people who make sure that disconnection is kept a reality. Those are evil people. I'm sorry, but there's just no other word for it. They are black-hearted, evil people, and they are doing bad, and they're doing it on purpose. And I cannot forgive them for what they're doing because I've had too much personal loss with that. You know, I'm not talking about your run-of-the-mill Scientologist. I'm not talking about your average Joe Scientologist who just kind of goes along with the flow. Those are not the people I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people who know what they're doing and they do it anyway. They know it's disruptive. They know they're breaking up families. They know they're ruining people's lives, and they don't care. I don't see why I should ever extend the hand of friendship or warmth to them. And frankly, I am pretty angry at them for what they do. So that's my honest from the heart answer to that.